Back in 2009, my best friend and I, and a girl I was dating, went to the Grove at Farmers Market in Los Angeles to watch Avatar at the now defunct Pacific Theater. I had absolutely no idea what that film was about, as I only bought a ticket because my coworker was hyping it up as the new James Cameron film, and I was only interested in seeing my lady friend and hanging out with my best friend. I still even remember what she wore that day, a schoolgirl outfit with black knee-high stockings and high heels. Yeah, she was hot as fuck. However, once the movie started, I immediately forgot they existed as I was transported into this amazing and fully realized science fiction world that assaulted all of my senses. I saw it in 3D. But it wasn't until the paralyzed Jake ran out of that lab in his avatar form and the film's reoccurring theme melted my brain that I became a fan of this series forever. I wrote that for the beginning of my Tron Ares review on Letterboxd, and I felt it was appropriate to reiterate that here. I am a fan of the Avatar franchise, and after watching Fire and Ash, well, I remain a fan. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Let's Talk, the series where I see you. This is your friendly neighborhood Birdman, and today we're talking Avatar, Fire, and Ash. The Sullys are settling in their lives in their new home with the Metakaina people of the reef as they deal with the loss of their eldest son, Neteyam. Everyone is grieving in their own way, with Neteyam's brother Loak taking the loss particularly hard as he blames himself for his death. The RDA, or the Sky People, remain the biggest pieces of shit you've ever seen, and they're still hunting down Jake for betraying humanity. Quaritch enlists the help of the Ash People, a group of rogue Na'vi that have forsaken Eywa, and Jake has to pull his family together in order to repel this overwhelming threat to Pandora. You're going to hear this a lot from other film reviewers, but this movie is absolutely stunning. No, seriously, this might be the most beautiful film I have ever seen. The first Avatar film was a technological marvel, and it was something we had never seen before. The Way of Water then blew that film out of the water, pardon the pun, and for those who think that's hyperbole, seriously, sit down and watch both films back to back. There is a significant improvement in the visual quality and CGI from the first to the second film. And I'm here to tell you right now that Fire and Ash makes even the second Avatar film look pedestrian. You will be blown away at how insanely detailed this world is. And if you watch this film in IMAX 3D like I did, and there really is no reason you shouldn't, the depth that 3D gives this film is seriously breathtaking. One thing I have to mention is that this film sports a frame rate of 60 frames per second in a lot of the scenes, and for those who think film is supposed to be 24 frames, this could be a little jarring. In my opinion, 60 frames makes what you're seeing on the screen look hyper-real, as if you could reach out and touch the creatures on screen. If you watch this in anything less than true 3D IMAX, you will have wasted your money on an objectively lesser experience. And personally, I find that to be part of the fun of going to watch an Avatar film, to see how James Cameron has outdone himself. And friends, he has outdone himself. This movie is like a thrill ride at a theme park, and watching this on a smaller screen in the 2D format would be like riding the kiddie rides. And you wouldn't want a roller coaster to go 10 miles per hour, would you? As for the plot, I found it rather enjoyable. In Way of Water, I thought they focused a little too much on the ocean, sacrificing a bit of the storytelling for the marvel of the technology itself. But I understand now what they were trying to accomplish. That exposition was necessary for you to understand this film, because this film does not hold your hand with the intricate details of the ocean-dwelling creatures or the complexities of the Na'vi people. You are expected to know everything this film throws at you, and frankly, I prefer this method of storytelling. It's the third film, and having to reiterate things I already know would kill the pacing. This movie truly is the deep waters, where knowing what happened in the previous film is a prerequisite for being able to keep up with this film. To be clear, it's not exactly a difficult story to follow, but it is extremely dense with a ton of characters and a lot of plot threads. This is a 3-hour, 17-minute film, and it takes all of that time exploring each of the film's characters and fleshing out their story arcs. Because the story is so dense and fast-paced, you never actually feel bored or that the film drags, which is something I felt The Way of Water suffered from, especially upon subsequent viewings. This makes these two films feel like companion pieces, something to watch back to back, and I know that's a tall ask with the runtime of these movies. Of particular note are the antagonists of this story, Miles Quaritch and the leader of the Ash people, Varang. Stephen Lang continues to portray a compelling character in this franchise, with Quaritch teetering on being an anti-hero and Varang being an awesome and sadistic villain. She brings a sultry sexiness to the story that I didn't even realize was missing. There's a psychedelic sequence in this film involving this character, and I gotta say, I get why she has followers. However, I feel like after a certain point in the film, she becomes something of a side villain where Miles is still the guy Cameron wants you to root against. I really liked Varang, and I wish she had a little more to do than what she got, but again, this is a 3-hour film that's telling a lot of stories about a lot of characters, so what are you gonna do? My main negative is this film's abrupt ending where certain things don't get resolved, and it's frustrating because it seems James really wants to have another sequel rather than tie up certain plot threads. The way this film ends reminds me of exactly how The Way of Water ended, which was fine then because we knew we were going to be getting another Avatar film. And I know there will be more Avatar films, but for fuck's sake, man, finish this particular story. I was at the edge of my seat and then the credits started rolling, and I couldn't help but furrow my brow while everyone else in my theater clapped. All I'm saying is, I was not clapping. In the end, this is another brilliant entry in the Avatar franchise. If you are here for the visuals, you will adore this film. It is strikingly beautiful, and the CGI is better than anything you have ever seen. It moves at an almost blistering pace, which is a good thing for a film this long, and it never drags, always showing you something tranquil or action-packed. Specifically that last one, as this is easily the most intense and suspenseful Avatar film. The Sullys were all great, with Jake and Neytiri carrying the weight of their family struggle, and Lo'ak is clearly being set up to take the reins once Jake's story is over. And on that note, I did not like the way the film ended, and I think most people with a critical eye will dislike this element of the film too. In that respect, it felt like a repetitive retread of things we already saw in Way of Water. You're asking a lot of us with a runtime like this, and I couldn't help but personally feel a little blue-balled. Your mileage may vary. B+.